that story. Let's move into something completely different. We know that the economy has been under stress, particularly the industrial economy. Now, typically the segment that gets hit the most is the SME sector due to lack of financing options. CRISIL has done an interesting report suggesting that a lot of SMEs are dipping into their own funds to try and manage operations right now. Yogesh Dixit is director at CRISIL SME Ratings, joining us here on Profit Fundamentals. Yogesh, thanks for coming in. Very interesting study, and you've got some very interesting numbers. But the basic trend seems to be that a lot of people are saying that we don't have access to affordable bank finance, so we'll have to use our own money.
Yeah, you are right in a way. What's happening is the access to fund is it depends on how the enterprises showcase themselves in front of the lenders and how much information the banks have about the borrowers who want to seek funds from them, and that's where the issues come up. And what we have seen is during the inflationary times, the borrowers have dipped into their own resources. They have mobilized their capital. They have mobilized funds from their friends and relations to meet the needs of working capital and other needs of the business. So that's where it's happening, and this is because we feel is in these times when the investment cycle has slowed down from the enterprises side, the banks also have become a bit cautious, and because of that the mobilization of fund is happening more from the entrepreneur side.
Yogesh, let me interrupt and just ask a question. So as somebody who's looking at the SME sector, should that be seen as a positive or a negative trend? If you look at it from a positive viewpoint, it shows that maybe they have internal accruals and it takes down their potential interest cost. On the other hand, I'm sure these funds are not a bottomless pit. At some point, they would have to go back and access the banking system.
Yeah, we feel clearly that there is enough appetite in the SMEs to absorb the bank funds. But this is something, this contraction of, funding from bank side, had it been available, the enterprises would have used that for managing the working capital requirement. What happens in a scenario where the demand has slowed down is that, there's a pressure on the SMEs, to manage that inventory buildup and other requirements of the business, because business is on. Only the movement of goods has slowed down and production has slowed down, but other requirements are always there. And in that case, to manage this stretched working capital, the enterprise have been using their own funds. So we feel that as this situation improves and demand grows and we see inflationary pressures come down, the banks will come forward to fund the enterprises, and enterprises will be more willing to take risk and go back to the investment cycles.
All right, but that depends on a lot of macroeconomic factors. Just one other point which is interesting in your report, you had some backward-looking data about revenue growth and material cost and the impact hence on operating margins. But that was 2010-11 data. Are there any other sort of trends that you've picked up since then, or has that trend more or less continued?
Yeah, that trend is more or less continued, and we feel that till there are inflationary pressures on, this is expected to continue on. The entrepreneurs are trying to reduce the overhead cost, the other cost, the inventory cost, and trying to manage their funding requirement better to stave off these pressures which are coming on business.
All right, Yogesh, we'll have to leave it at that, but thank you so much. Very interesting report. It's great to see numbers on the SME sector. One doesn't get that much access to that kind of data. Thank you so much for taking time to explain that report as well. That's a CRISIL exclusive report on SME and SME financing in particular. I think that's all the time I have on Fundamentals. Completely done. Thanks so much for watching. It's a busy news day, particularly with the cement cartelization report likely just about any time. So do try and keep an eye out on what's happening there. We'll be back.